Hey guys, just want to let you know about the new website, Aspect of the Hunter. If you want to find the latest pet, transmog, or anything else WoW related, head on over to Aspect of the Hunter. It's the home for all us hunters. Hello world, it's Ravenclaw here and welcome to another tutorial at Ravenclaw's Academy. Now, today we are going through OBS Studios for both streaming and recording for YouTube or whatever else you want to do. So if you're watching this, you're a content creator willing and ready to get into your YouTube or Twitch journey. So YouTube is a free software that allows you to stream or record, like I mentioned 2 seconds ago. Okay, so what we want to do is, in this tutorial, we are going to look over the basics. Okay, so the basics are what the UI does, how to maneuver and get around OBS, and then we'll go into some more advanced stuff in part 2. All right, so let's first, before we do anything, let's set up our settings to be able to stream. So what we want to do is come over to settings here, right? Once we open that, we've got a nice little interface. Now, this is the most recent download, I believe, for OBS Studio. I will look down below in the link in the description and you'll be able to download it from there. So once you have it up, now I don't really touch anything here. This is basically changing it from white to black. I reckon the darker one looks good. Yeah, so I mean, you can mess around with these. This basically allows you to snap things when your sources are elements on the screen, but yeah, I would leave them as is. Now this one is the important one. So if you're streaming on YouTube or Twitch or any one of these, you need to make sure, so for example, I stream on YouTube at the moment because I've got a bigger following on my gaming channel. Don't forget to go and check that out. Over here is where you'll need to pick the server. So if you're on Twitch, right, you need to pick the server that's closest to you. For me, it'd be Australia, Sydney, Australia. But if you're in, America, just pick whichever one is closer to you to reduce the MS or the ping, and you'll be able to stream a lot nicer. Now, let's go down to output. So output here, this is a very interesting one. There used to be a website called OBS Estimator, and would tell you based on your speed to what type of bit rate you have. Now, I'm going to try and help you out here because I think they've closed it down because I think there was a lot of backlash for them giving like misleading information, even though it was just an average. But anyway, so I've set my bitrate to 3000. So if you go to speedtest.net, which is down below, and run a test on your speed. Okay, so what we need to look for here is your upload. So your upload is more important than your download, because what you're doing is you're essentially sending information from your computer up to the server for everyone to see. Now I've got 100 megabits download and about 50 megabits upload. So you make sure you change that into kilobytes to see. So if you've got around about 50 megabits upload, you can then set the bit rate to about 3000. So what I'm going to do is I get you to practice this, start at like 3500. If that's not really good quality, then bring it back. So anywhere between 2000 to about 3000 is your butter zone for people that have a decent bit. I think anywhere between like 20 megabits to 50 megabits. So encoder, I just leave it on software. I don't change that at all. Audio bitrate, I like to have around 128 or 160. You just want to get that clear, crisp sound. Leave these as is. I don't change these at all. Now, the encoder preset, this was basically, what do you want to do more? Do you want your bandwidth to determine the quality, or do you want the CPU to do most of the work? So in this case, I click very fast. Now, if you've got a good CPU, right, so the higher equals less CPU. So if you've got a good CPU, you can go down to, well, I guess you can go down to fast, medium, whatever you want to do. But I'll leave it on very fast because obviously if you go to ultra fast, it'll be less CPU, but it'll rely more on your bandwidth. But if you're struggling with bandwidth, get your CPU to do most of the encoding and go from there. Now, recording, you set your pathway, so when you do set recording, you know where to find all your bits and pieces. Recording quality, you can set this individually or just save it. I just leave it the same as stream because I want my stream to be good plus my recordings. You can change the format and so on and so forth. Let's go to audio. Audio, I'd like to keep it on 48 or maybe anywhere between this. 48 is the best that I use. It's like more studio quality, but it's entirely up to you. channels, stereo. These you can mix yourself if you've got auxiliary devices. For example, your microphone, you can set to, I've got either my headset or I go to my microphone, my main microphone. And yeah, mix around with these and see what you like to do the most. Now these ones here, for your desktop, if you want to capture the desktop audio, you can set that to default, or just muck around and see what works the best. Okay, so the bass I do in 1080p. I don't change that. That's 1080p. Sampling I leave on bicubic. That's seems to be working the best for me. And the common FPS you can change between 30 and 60. I leave it on 30 for streaming reasons. I don't want to go too high, otherwise it makes things all crazy. Hotkeys you can set to whatever you want to do whatever you need. I don't really need to do it because I literally just press start and that's it. It's more for recording purposes. And everything in here I don't really change. DirectX 11 I leave on that. Color format, there's nothing else that I change the most. You can set custom file formatting, which is nothing that I really do, but that's pretty much, those are the main things anyway that you need to set up before you can go forward. Now, if you need your stream key, you can either go to your dashboard on Twitch and look for your stream key, or you go to the, I think it's the live stream on YouTube, and go to your options there, and then you'll be able to find your YouTube live stream. So you just go apply and then go okay. So as you see now, we've got my microphone talking and chatting and stuff down here. I'm just going to mute that because I don't want anything down here. Now we're going to look at the interface. So let's start with, let's go to the bits and pieces up here real quick. Now show recordings up here, you can just go to the file that your last recording was set. Settings, we've just in, so there's two places to go to get that. Show profile folder, that's what we'll get into in a sec. Okay, so transform, you can transform the preview in whatever way you feel fit. Where are we? So order. So if we go down into scenes, once you click a certain scene, you can select the order at which it's located in the preview. So it goes in layer system. Something that's at the top will be at the foremost part of the screen, and everything underneath it will be behind the first one, obviously. Okay, so lock preview means that you can't change anything on the screen. So go to profiling. That's pretty much it, isn't it? Toolbars, everything's there. So profiles is pretty self-explanatory. You can set up different profiles to save different settings if you're doing different things. One might be for recording, one might be for streaming on YouTube and stuff like that. You can duplicate the settings and so on. Now scenes, you can have different types of scenes. For example, I've got my YouTube one, right? So my YouTube is set up, ready to go. Or if I want to go back to another one, maybe it's for Twitch, whatever you're doing. If you've got multiple different games you play, you want, or whatever, you can set scenes so they'll do different things and have a different layout. And help is just all the jazz that you don't really use that much. Okay, so scenes, let's get into scenes. So a scene is where, if you're, say, on Twitch and you've got your main game set up, you're ready to go, you've got your overlay, you're doing everything right, and then all of a sudden you need to go off screen, you want to say like do a be right back sort of screen, you can then switch between the scenes. So everything that shows on the screen is known as a scene. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to set up one. So what I like to do first is you right click in the scenes and you go add, or you can go down to plus and do the same thing, right? Yeah, so in this case I'm going to go webcam, right? And then we'll double click on, sorry, no, don't double click on it. Okay, webcam, and we'll go into sources. So webcam, this is your scenes. Now inside is what's ever inside that particular scene. And what we want to do is go to add video capture device. I'm just gonna leave it like that, it's fine. Okay, so what we want to make sure of here is if you're using the same webcam as I am, go to configure video. Because what you might have is the white balance. So if you look up in the camera, it usually starts off like that and it looks horrible. So I want to make sure I bring some color back to my face and I don't look like I'm dead. And then you do that and do that. That's pretty much the only thing that I use and I do with this. Now, why am I doing it in a separate scene, not in the main one? I like to have it here so that way I can see, it doesn't matter where you put this because you can change it later on. I just like to make sure everything's set up all right. And then if I do change anything, it's all in this one scene, nothing else. All right, so what we want to do is go add another scene. We'll go this overlay. All right, this is going to be our main section. Okay, so the first thing we want to look at doing is let's bring in our overlay. If you've got certain things for different games, this is where you'll set up different ones. So it's in under image, and let's go find it. Okay, so once you've found your image, right? So you go browse and find it, just press OK, and we're good to go. So that's your overlay. I mean, you can rename it. So if you go there, rename, we'll just call it overlay. Overlay, so you know which one it is. It's good to keep a good naming convention in place, so that way you know, especially if you're in midstream, you don't want things to pop up that you don't want to pop up. It's happened to me before, it sucked. So just go overlay 1. All right, so now what we want to do is bring that webcam that we set up earlier into this scene. So we go add video capture device. Now in this case, we want to add existing because we've got one that's already set up. So if we go here and we go okay, brings it in. So it didn't change, so we can do whatever we want in this one. And this one we can set. But what we want to do now is we want to get rid of all this green. So how do we do that? We want to right click on the video capture device and go to filters. All right, so you've got 2 sections here. One is for audio, if you want to set a compressor or anything like that to your audio. So when you're speaking or anything like that, it will come out clearer. But I've got another tutorial that's coming up soon that I'll show you how to make really good studio quality audio for free. So effect filters, what we want to look for is chroma key. Don't do color key, that's different. So chroma key is what we're looking to do to get a full color spectrum out. So color key works differently. It goes on basically whatever color you have chosen, that value, anything that's around that similar value, not like this, anything that has green in it goes. So as you can see, my skin, we have very little green in our skin, but if we went red, watch what happens. So we just go magenta, oh no, hold on a sec. Custom, select color, yeah, that'll do. So you can see the green has no red in it, but our skin has more red in it than anything else. So that's what happened. How cool does this look? Bah. Anyway, so what I like to do is I go to custom, I go to select color, and I go to pick screen color, because I want to get as close to what I've got on the screen. But what happened? We've gone. Now this is the reason why. So we want to go down to similarity and we want to pull this right back. So basically it's saying anything similar to green in a massive range. So that's pretty much every color. So let's pull this right back. Oh, look at that. Okay, so pull it right back until, so if we go too far, you see that static around the screen? We want to make it so we get rid of just everything, good to go. This here is a light that I've got, and I will show you how to set up a green screen properly. This is just sort of like my test one, so it's kind of crappy at the moment. All right, so smoothness basically smooths the edge, so you can see harsh, and you can smooth it just so you can get rid of any sort of, so if you look around here, there's a little bit of green there, so you can go to color spill, and that'll get rid of any sort of reflections in green. So I just want to make it so it's nice, and then the smoothness we can go a little bit more. Don't want to go too much, just to get rid of most of the green so it's not really harsh. And that'll do. That'll be fun. Okay, so let's go now and we'll close this. And there we go. So if we want to move an element, you can literally click on the element itself and move it around. In this case, I want to make sure that I bring this one down. So if we hold Shift and Control, it'll actually allow us to move and stretch along a plane instead of, if you do it normally, it'll go universally. Okay, so if we go like that, yep, we bring that back up, that'll do. Okay, so now I want to pull this one down. So it sort of looks like I'm at the table. That'll do. Okay, so now we've got these two sorted. What we want to do is bring in maybe a video or a capture. So what we want to do, there's 3 different captures. Display is literally what's being displayed on a screen. So if you've got multiple screens, that's what it will do. Window is whatever window you choose to have it showing. For example, it could be a browser or anything else that you've got that you want to keep on your screen, or game capture. So in my case, I'm going to go, so we'll call it WoW for World of Warcraft. That's my main game on my other channel. You've got different things here. I like to go to specific because I like to have different selections if I play different games like Horizon or anything like that. Now, what I want to do is I haven't got anything here because the game isn't open. So if you wait 1 second, we'll... Okay, so now it's open. Let's go back into this. We can double click, go to specific window, World of Warcraft. Okay, that's pretty good. I don't, you can allow transparency if you want to sort of fade it between screens and stuff. I just leave these pretty much as is. All right, now what we want to do is drag it down, okay? And let's bring that here, just roughly. Now I wanted to do this to show you the order, and as we were looking before. So if we select on WoW, you can right click it and go down to order and move down. So as you saw now, whatever's at the top is at the front, and furthermore than that. So now it looks like it's behind my head, but it's just the magic of editing. All right. Lastly, I just wanted to show you a bit of an idea of how to work things like this. You can do things like audio input capture if you've got like a specific one for Discord and stuff like that. You can add another scene, text, which I'll go into the next one. The next tutorial on OBS, I'll teach you how to do anything like Twitch alerts, all this other stuff. I can show you how to do cool effects for different types of things you're doing. Bring in like specific, lower thirds that you do, anything like that to make it like if you're doing a news channel or all that. I'll teach you how to do all that cool stuff. But for this specific tutorial, it was just to show you the basics of OBS and how to set it up to get you on the track, on the move. So over here, lastly, the fade. So as you can see here, that's basically that. So you can fade in between screens. So if I go for lastly, if I go add a scene, right, and this one we're going to add an image. So let's have a look. So now I've gotten myself a cutscene sort of thing. So I can go like this. I can bring it up to full screen here. Let's go back up the top. See how it snaps into place? That's what I was talking about earlier. So let's say I'm in the middle of a stream, hey, and I want to go get a drink or something like that. So you can switch, boop. Then you can cut the audio, mute it, and you're good to go. But that's pretty much it. Like, it's pretty straightforward. Same with recording. That's why I love OBS so much. I don't really use OBS when I record my videos, such as this. I will show you other ways to record for free and in high quality. But that is pretty much it. Studio mode allows you to do other little bits and things like transitions and stuff, but I hardly ever use it. But yeah, so duration means how long in between fades. So if you jack it right up and you go scene, let's just get out of studio mode, right? It takes longer to transition. And that's pretty much it. There's nothing really more to OBS. It's pretty straightforward, very simple and amazing to use. If you have any questions, make sure you let me know down below. I will answer every question that comes onto this video. If you are doing something in particular and you have a certain sort of thing that you want to try out, you can always send me a message, an email or whatever, and I'll help you out personally. Other than that, stay tuned to the channel for the next episode of OBS, where I'll go into more in-depth things that will help you out, more specific settings for you. But yeah, other than that, good luck on your creations and everything like that, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, guys.